Valentine's Day, so why not talk about some love and hate with TDPhinsTalk? What is up, Fin fans? Yes, I got my boy TDPhinsTalk on the channel for a very special Valentine's Day. We're going to be talking about some things about the Dolphins that we like, that we didn't like. It's a very, very good conversation. Clears up a lot of things because a lot of people have certain preconceived notions of TD, even of me. So I have my bud and my brother from another mother, TD, on, and we talk about these things. Before we jump into that, I got to shout out my guys at patchvibes.com. I'm telling you, constantly push them at the beginning of my videos. Not because, hey, they're paying me, because they're not. They're just really good people with really good merchandise, with these types of patches, with these types of pins, with these types of patches. They also have really cool t-shirts. They just put a Zach Thomas t-shirt out. So be sure to go over, check it out, DDW. You get 20% off. But let's jump into this fantastic conversation with TDPhinsTalk. If you guys can see, I got my boy TDPhinsTalk here. We're doing a Valentine's Day special. Who better than, my guy TD to do a Valentine's Day special? We're going to talk a little love-hate with the Miami Dolphins. Now, I wouldn't say hate because TD, I don't think we really hate anything from the Dolphins, right?
Speak for yourself, dog. No, I'll just play. I'll just play. Hey, right there in the comment section, they're going to be like, TD hates too, or TD hates too.
We all know what TD's already going to say. We already know.
Oh, man.
But let's start with something that we love, right? I'll start it off. The love, the thing I love about this team the most is the fight that they have. We've seen it time and time again. The team fights. Even when they went 5-11, the team was fighting. And I think that has a lot to do with the head coach and the mindset that he puts with this team. It's a huge thing that, and a lot of free agents want to come here because of Brian Flores. So that's one of the things I love. You got something, or do you agree?
I agree. I love the fight that we had all year. I just, it left me with a sour taste in my mouth from the last game of the season. I felt like we showed fight all year, and in the last game, after the first quarter, when the defense actually played lights out, even got an interception and held Buffalo to 0, all the fight went out. People can debate on the reason why, but when it came to the fight, I would like to see that consistency even in hard times. So that was kind of tough for me, man.
Yeah, and I that could be towards the, I wouldn't say, I wouldn't say hate, but that last game of the season against Buffalo, let's talk about it. Since that's something that we didn't like, what do you think was the main reason? Because we got the interception, we marched down the field, we kicked the field goal. But then on the flip side, that defense gave up 28 points in a quarter. And at one point, they gave up a touchdown in 4 plays. What do you think was the main reason in that game that it sucked? That last game of the season is definitely part of the hate that really sucked.
I think it was deflation. The team got deflated. And I don't want to make this about Tua and Ryan Fitzpatrick, but that was a factor in it because this defense came out of that game excited, on fire, ready to play. They literally gave Josh Allen 3 series and made him look like a bum. They couldn't get a first down. They intercepted him. They were getting after him, and it was an amazing start. And even during the game on my live stream, I said it. I said, now I'm worried because our defense came out on fire, held them to 0 points in the first quarter, and you can't expect them to do that all game. Our offense never helped out. And this was when no one was dropping passes.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the Buffalo game, if you go look at the first quarter, you had 0 drops in the first quarter. No one dropped passes, none of that stuff. And I think they got deflated. And in that first quarter, Tua didn't play his best game. And I think that the team overall saw that it was going downhill and the safety net wasn't there in Ryan Fitzpatrick. And everything after that was uncharacteristic. The defense started getting beat. And you can only ask a defense to do but so much. You have to be able to match their energy on offense. And we didn't do that. We didn't run the ball well. We didn't throw the ball well. And then all of a sudden we stopped catching well. Then we stopped defending well. So I know a lot of people say, yeah, but the defense gave up so much. Defense was gassed. Defense was out there majority of the game. They actually came out on fire, but they never got help, and it went downhill from there. So I don't really blame the defense. At some point, they just stopped caring. I mean, it was just like whatever.
And let's clear the air, because I know a lot of people are going to start commenting, TD's blaming Tua for that Buffalo game. You're not necessarily saying it was because of Tua that it went downhill. You even mentioned the run game. Like, so you're just to clear it up, because I don't want you to get unnecessarily hate.
Listen, I say things like that to troll people. Let me get that straight now. Listen, because we have two new group of fans in Miami Dolphin fan in our environment. You have the new Miami Dolphin fans, which is beautiful, but I'm sorry, I just don't vibe with the new non-Miami Dolphin fans that are just Tua fans. And what I mean by that is, if he got traded tomorrow, they'll no longer be Dolphin fans. And I personally don't feel like I owe any loyalty to those individuals, because they're not riding for our team. They're riding for an individual. But I will say, to back off of that a little, maybe as he grows and gets better, they become true Dolphin fans, so that if his career ends in 20 years and he goes to the Hall of Fame, which we all hope he does, then they're still Dolphin fans. But right now, they're just showing their Tua pride, not their Dolphin pride. And I troll those individuals. And those are the ones who call me a hater. But for those individuals, yes, I am a hater. For the real Dolphin fans, no, I think Tua has a bright future. The Buffalo game was not his fault. It was a team collective effort. The offense didn't get it going early. The offense doesn't consist of Tua. It consists of Tua, Gaskins. I mean, just every player on the offense. They didn't get it going. The defense played well. Then when the offense actually wanted to try to get a few spurts, the defense stopped playing well. But my thing is, Doug, and I'll say this to end it off, I just can't stand for the over bashing of the rest of the team just to uplift one player. And that's where I kind of draw the line. So when I see that, I point out the flaw of that one player to make it even, but people don't see me making it even. They just see me pointing that player out, because we can talk about, oh, this person is trash now, they drop balls. That person is this, now they drop balls. But nobody, it is almost like a carnal sin to say anything constructive about our quarterback. But we all know, everybody can admit, yeah, there's things he can improve, but nobody wants to say those things out of their mouth, because it's almost like a sin. Speak it out, just like we talk about Grant, just like we talk about Gesicki's route running, just like we talk about, this, that, and this. Everybody, no one should be immune to that. That's all I'll say. But no, I don't hate Tua. I love Tua. I know he has a bright future, but I'm just not going to give him a crown until he proves it.
And it's funny, too, that you say that, because a lot of people come at you and say that you hate Tua, you're a Tua hater. But like you said, your whole thing is, don't bash the rest of the team to raise him up. And a lot of people call me, and this is why people want us to debate, because it's hilarious, but a lot of people call me a Tua lover, a Tua stan, a Tua apologist, when my whole thing is, I don't like the people that bash Tua and raise up the rest. Like, me and you agree 100%, but we're trying to defend the opposites, because people say, Tua sucks, Tua's a bust, Tua's this, but they don't look at the other things he has to deal with. And you hate when people are like, Tua is the greatest thing ever, it's because of this, and this. And you're like, no, when
you hit it right on the head, Doug, because I noticed that with you. People will come at you and say that you're being an apologist for Tua, but those are the same people who are only bashing Tua. Like, I could see if they said, Doug, Tua took too long, he held that ball too long, but that receiver still should have caught it. And you would probably be like, yes, that's fair. 100%. But instead, they come at you and say, Tua held the ball too long, he's the reason, he's the fault, blah, blah, blah. But they don't point out the other blame, and me, vice versa. Yep. So we're trying to actually put it on an even field. And people don't see that. All they hear is what they want to hear. And it goes both ways. People think, oh, well, TD feels this way, he only got this crowd. Doug feels that way, he only got that crowd. They don't understand. We are in the middle, but we have to overcompensate our explanation to try to get people to put it in the middle, but they still, we're speaking to the choir, man. I mean, it's
I did an hour and a half film breakdown of everyone. Well, not everyone, but all of his passes through his 9 games.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say it was 50-50. I'd be like, holding the ball too long. Should have got the ball out there. Shouldn't have taken the sack. But look at that pass. Look at this pass. Look at that. And all people hear is, you're just giving him excuses. I'm like, I literally said he holds the ball too long. He has to have better footwork. He needs to read the defense quick. No. And it makes me laugh. And you deal with it too. And
that's going to be the nature of it, because some people watch you, Doug, to prove you wrong. Some people watch me to prove me wrong. And that's all good. They're watching, right? But at the same token, man, it's like we're passionate about it, so we don't want to walk past a wrong perception because there's a young Dolphin mind watching us who is confused. They're reading that guy in the comment section. They're listening to us, and they're like, which one is it? You know, and we're trying to actually explain to them what it really is. And I watched the film breakdown. I only disagree with one thing, you know. And we'll get to that film study together. We're going to do that as a collab at some point. That's the only play I disagree about. It's the biggest debate out here that we keep having. And I'm telling you, it was a post route, Doug. But we'll get to that, man.
Yeah, we'll talk about that on your channel, because I see where you're coming from, but I also have a rebuttal on that. But that's a little teaser to these people. They're going to have to go over to your channel.
I know, right? That'll be a good one.
But we talk a little bit of love, talk a little hate, or a little disagreement, I guess you could say. Another love is the defense in a whole, right? This is going to be a combination of like a love-hate, because everyone loved the defense. You know, the defense is one of the main reasons we won 10 games, you know, with the Rams game, with the Chargers game, with a ton of these games, getting us turnovers, putting Tua in the perfect position for him to get us some points, all that good stuff. But there's a little hate sprinkled in there because the pass rush just consistently was good and then bad. There was no like in the middle with the pass rush. So I want to hear you talk about, you know, the good with the defense and the bad with the defense.
All right. So here's where I caution Dolphins fans. And yay, it's not going to be about Tua, but don't call me a hater. Okay. But I just got to be honest, man. I'm gonna give some honest feedback on this question. We have to caution ourselves on our defense. I'm impressed with the defense. You know, we came out and we performed some weeks. But when we were getting pass rush, like you said, we were getting it and then it was non-existent. Look who we were playing. When we weren't getting it, look who we were playing. You know, we took advantage of the weak teams, which great teams do. That's what I love. But we didn't compete with the great teams in the pass rush in the trenches, which great teams do. So, yeah, we have a good defense, but I think people need to give Brian Flores and the scheme more credit than the personnel right now. This is not a finished defense. We created pressure through schematic football, okay? Through looking like we were going to run a zero blitz, but we back it out. We send the linebackers, but have all the D linemen back out in coverage. You know, there were a lot of sexy things that were happening on the field from a defensive perspective. So, but we have to caution ourselves. Next year, our competition is a whole lot better, in my opinion, when I look at the schedule. Some people disagree, but I think it's a lot better competition next year as far as trenches. And we'll have a much better test. But at the same token, we'll have a much better test with a much better situation. Because I think that we're going to actually go get a true nose tackle. You know, people don't understand the difference between a defensive tackle and a nose tackle. And we need the true zero tech that's not going to be pushed backwards. Christian Wilkins and Raekwon Davis being the future on the outside of whoever that true DT is, nose tackle is going to be wreak havoc in this league. But until we get that true nose, like, people don't understand the difference it's going to make. And I think we're also going to go ahead and get us a very good defensive end. And that's nothing against Ogba, but even Ogba, everybody's impressed and happy about his season. But look who he performed against and who he didn't perform against. See, I'm going hand in. I'm just keeping it 100. I love Ogba. Don't say I'm hating.
Yeah,
I'm not hating on anyone. But we got to look at who we played and who we didn't play. I mean, who he played well against and who he didn't play well against. And then in schematic football, those guys in the secondary did a number this year,
Oh yeah.
which allowed us to, when we did get at the quarterback, a lot of that was on that. Due to the secondary. I saw quarterbacks first read, second read, back to first. Like I saw quarterbacks like my reads aren't there. My reads aren't there. And that's why people don't understand the value of Xavier Howard and Byron Jones, that connection that they had in that secondary this year. People really underestimate, and the biggest one is Byron Jones that people rag on. We already know what X is. I was surprised. I was wrong about X. I didn't feel like he continued. Hey, hold on, Doug. Now, when I say I was wrong, I was wrong about this year and immediate future. I just wouldn't bet on the long term of seeing this. You know, he may have had this year, maybe even next year, but it's hard for me to say that he's going to continue to play like this for 4 years to come. Mm. That's why I even tease the idea of this is the highest value he'll be. Get your compensation for him now, especially with him wanting to possibly be compensated with more guaranteed money or a bigger deal potentially. But that's another conversation. But that pass rush, man, you got to caution yourself. The secondary was a huge part of that when it was successful. And another thing, before I digress on this, we talked about things we were in love with and things we didn't like, we hated. I didn't like the inconsistency with our defensive coordinator this year. And we started the season after the whole Fitz situation. You know, I mean, even though the last 2 games, the D coordinator said, you know, screw it. It's like he had the playbook and kept on trying to do stuff, and he was just like, screw it. Zero blitz. Zero blitz everything. And we ran zero blitz 18 times in one game and beat a team by almost 30. We ran zero blitz 12 times in the next game or so, and beat a team by 20 something. And we're getting pressure on quarterbacks. And I remember it was the Chargers coach that was like, you know, you got to watch out for this team. I watched the film. They ran 18-0 blitzes, so they're coming. But in that game, we stunned on the blitz, and it was effective. It still got the job done. But after that, Doug, I'm sitting there on Sundays with my cup like, whoa, I'm more excited about seeing the defense than the offense. And I'm like, where's the blitzes? Like, Doug, we literally went from double-digit blitzes, and I'm talking about blitzes, like sending 5 is a blitz, okay? Yeah. But I'm talking about we went from sending 6 at times and 7 even at times to sending 4 and 3.
Yeah.
Like, there were times we would send 3 consistently. People didn't recognize that. We would have 4 on the D-line. 1 would drop back. It was like, what's going on? Is there this secret injury out here that we want to compensate for or something? What is going on? We just stopped. And then, for 1 quarter every game, we would do it again, and we would shut them down, but we stopped. And people would argue with me on the channel and say, well, you can't run zero you can't blitz the whole game. You can't do man-to-man the whole game. And I've been yelling in the screen all season, yes, you can. We got the athletes for it. And I said the Bucs are going to do it again versus the Chiefs. Mark my words. What did they do? They man-to-man. Sent pressure. Everybody was like, well, it was just the front 4. No, they sent delayed 5s, and they sent corner blitzes and back guys out to make it look forward, but stunts. They sent pressure on Mahomes, and for some reason we were inconsistent, but I also chucked it up. He is a new defensive coordinator. Mm-hmm. So hopefully that situation gets better, and we continue to work to our strengths. Well, we'll see. But that's my take. I know I went on for a while.
That's a good take, man. I let you talk, dude. You're a good talker. So sometimes I just take a step back. I let you talk.
Oh man.
But we'll talk about the last thing, and we'll end this one on, I guess you could say, a dislike. And it's for me, and it's a big one, right? Because it's a very important. We talk about the trenches, right? The defensive line, and it's that yin and yang. I constantly say that on my channel, yin and yang. The secondary does well if the defensive front does well, and the defensive front does well if the secondary does well. And you pinpointed it perfectly. The times we got a sack is because our corners shut their wide receivers down, whether it's jamming them at the line of scrimmage so they can't get a quick pass off, or having them covered downfield, so all of a sudden these defensive ends can get rips and all that stuff and get to them. But it also goes the other way around, you know. defensive line needs to get after the quarterback so these corners don't have to cover these guys for 5, 6, 7 seconds.
Exactly.
Offensive line is the same thing. It's that yin and yang. Quarterback helps the offensive line by not having concrete feet, staring down his receivers, moving. Same with the running backs, but also this offensive line needs to help out this quarterback. So there's a few games this season where I feel like the offensive line struggled. But what is your take on this offensive line? You know, we had 3 rookies that performed well, and not even like we're 1 first-round rookie. We had a second rounder, and then a lot of like late rounders performed well. The vets performed worse than the rookies did. So what's your take on this offensive line?
You just said it. But I don't hate it, and let me tell you why. Is that not encouraging for you? You know, I get it. We hated it this year, of course. Yeah. But that's very encouraging, man. Mm-hmm. Matter of fact, I wouldn't have wanted it any other way. For us to legitimately go into next season knowing that our 3 rookies led the offensive line last year in production, and the veterans who are only bridges, just like Fitz was, were the ones who were struggling. Our 3 rookies outplayed our veterans who have played decent in their career. Yeah. And our 3 rookies outplayed them. That's encouraging to me. You know, I know it didn't help out this year. You know, the center getting pushed back every time the ball is hyped. You know, the left guard, don't get me started. You know, train wreck, right? So I see what you're saying. It makes you hate it, but we know that that's going to be addressed. We know that that's not a part of the long-term plan, and that encourages me because we got 3 anchors. And now we go ahead and get Panay Sewell, get a guy in free agency. We done, man. We got one of the best O-lines in the NFL. You know, that's wishful thinking. I don't know, maybe not. But I'm encouraged by the O-line. Of course, this season it wasn't the best thing, and again, your O-line is the most important thing that needs to help your young guy out. Mm. And Tua had his flaws in that as well. There were times where he ran out of the pocket with the absolute clean pocket, but there were times where he was forced out where he knew where he wanted to go, but he had to move. So it's just it's a combination of things that went wrong on that O-line with the connection with the quarterback this year. And it doesn't do anything but get better as time goes with the foundation that we have. So that's why I'm actually betting that Tua is going to be fine with the O-line.
But wait, TD, you hate Tua.
Listen, well, it depends on who's listening to me. Are you saying that as a Tua-neer or as a Dolphins fan? You got to be very distinctive, Doug. I'd agree if you're a Tua-neer. If you're a Dolphins fan, stop that mess, man. But we're gonna be just fine with the O-line. The thing that I actually didn't like this year was something was glaring to me, and nobody's probably gonna point this out. There's one person that's gonna be very important for this offense, and they have to improve in a key area. That's Mike Gesicki. His production has improved every single year, and he is a beast to me. Mm. He is not everything. He's what you want. Mm-hmm. But he got to become a better route runner, man. You know, ball game brought that to my attention. Then I went and watched some film, and I see it. You know, he rounds out every route. Mm-hmm. You know, and I think his legs are just up under him too much. You know, and he needs to get lower to be able to come out of breaks and stuff. But he's going to be vital because he can legitimately be Tua's biggest safety blanket. Just like Kelsey is for Mahomes. He has to be a better route runner, and that's what I didn't like. That's something that has to change. He can't just be another guy. He's a wide receiver right now. Yeah. That, again, doesn't run great routes. You know, he just has great hands and uses his frame to make plays. But if he can get on that route tree, and learn how to, you know, get a few tricks in his bag with his head movement and going the other way and different stuff, oh my gosh, Doug, we take a whole nother step. Gesicki has to get better, man. And we're going to look at his progression and his yards every year, general stats. And we don't even talk about his blocking anymore, which I haven't even really watched film on, so I don't know how much better he's gotten. I need to go check that out because that was the big issue. He needed to block better. But listen, focus on that route tree. We're going to have an O-line, so we ain't going to worry about that too much. Focus on that route tree and start putting some of those moves into custom moves. And, man, we take a whole nother step. He's a security blanket that's always has separation, but right now he's not getting separation.
Yeah, no, and I agree 100%. And you bring up very valid, great, facts. And with the rookies on this offensive line, you brought up something that, happened with the Chiefs, with the Buccaneers and the stunts they did. That was the biggest downfall of the Dolphins offensive line because of how young it was. That I noticed it in the Raiders game, the Broncos game, the Bills game, and it was all these games where the Dolphins seemed to struggle on offense. They love to run those stunts. Even the Cardinals game where the defensive end will go to the inside, the defensive tackle will go to the outside, and all of a sudden
curl around.
These rookies are like,
delay.
Wait, who am I supposed? And then there's just a free straight shot right at Tua. So you said it perfectly.
Even on that, Doug, veterans have to hold responsibility. I saw stunts where they came around like you'd have Flowers right there, right? And a guy would be coming and he's stunning around him. It's your job, Flowers, to take the guy left of you and push him. Up, that guy's not mine anymore. You have to, that's the form of communication on the O-line. You have to communicate in that form. Like, I have a man, he's going around, push while I'm looking for my next man. But that's not happening. These guys, these rookies are doing their job, but they're not being communicated with even on those stunts. And see, the stunt game, I'm not asking the rookie to be perfect on right now.
Exactly.
It's these veterans, man. They were in the right positions to mask that, but they weren't doing their job. They weren't doing their job.
I saw it time and time again where it was either Trey Edmonds or it was I forgot who the Cardinals defensive end was, or someone, Jesse Davis, or like you said, Trey Flowers just missed them and just went straight at Tua. And Tua was like, what am I supposed to do here? And then if that happens to you enough, especially a rookie, all of a sudden, like you said, you start running out of the pocket when you don't need to run out of the pocket because you're afraid. I'm going to get right up.
Let me tell you what teams did when they studied on those plays. First of all, these NFL teams know what plays you're going to be running. Like literally 70% of the time they know. They at least know where you're going with your first read. And when they did the stunts, they always took away the first read. Because I saw Tua on those plays. He hiked the ball. He looked, and he even looked like he wanted to go, but he realized it was gone. And by the time he was going to the second one, he saw the pressure coming. And that was designed. That was designed to pressure him, take away the first read, because they had already saw he was going at the first read a lot. And honestly, people disagree with this, but I actually like the fact that they had him going to the first read earlier in the season, get the ball out of his hand, let him get comfortable, make sure he's not getting blasted all the time with hits, and let's try to move the ball methodically. And maybe we could talk about this at another time. I just really think that what's his name? The offensive coordinator, Gailey, I really think he was treated unfairly by the fan base. I really do. This was the best offense we've had since, if I'm not mistaken, like from a ranking standpoint in offense, the best offense we've had since like 2008 or something like that, I read, from production, which you're not going to go from last to first always in offense, and that was a big step. And he was trying to manage what he had, I personally feel like if they had opened up the playbook like they did Fitz, it would have been a train wreck.
Yeah.
Because a lot of those plays require development, like route development, like time to develop the routes and everything. The O-line would have gotten exposed more. Our rookies wouldn't have looked as good on the O-line. And on top, it was a combination. It wasn't just about Tua.
Yeah.
The offense that we had was to protect the O-line, was to protect Tua, a lot of that stuff. And people just wanted to see – they just automatically wanted to see him with 5 seconds to throw the ball and to air it out all over the field. first of all, even with these young rookies, we didn't have a 5-second line. 3 at best, and he got the ball out in 2.1. So I just think it was kind of unfair. I think it was proper what Changeli did. People were asking for something that would have been even more disastrous. His interceptions probably would have been higher. The incompletion percentage would have been higher. That would have definitely been higher, because the dink and dunks makes it high. But whenever you stretch it out and want to go downfield more, it's higher. I think we managed it well. And we look to build off of that this year, but we're moving forward. But Gailey going, it's really no difference. I don't think they're going to come out with a whole new offense. They're going to run much similar with a few more wrinkles, and try to build on what they had last year and let the new quarterback coach work with Tua and continue harnessing his development. So
yeah. I agree 100% because a lot of people underestimate what Shane Gailey had to deal with, because there's a lot of times where these wide receivers, and I even pointed it out in my film breakdown, there was a point where Grant didn't know what side of the field he was supposed to line up on, and Gesicki's yelling at him, you're on the other side, and these are the things that Shane Gailey had to deal with. All right, well, I can't really have these guys do this versus, Fitz.
And it's not even really Grant's fault all the way, because Grant's not your number 2 receiver. He had to be thrusted into the number 2 role.
Yep.
That was Preston Williams. And honestly, Albert Wilson would get the shake before Grant on a normal. So this was even new for Grant. We even criticized Grant a lot, even though I am an individual that feel like the time is now to move on from Grant. But he still got a lot more criticism than necessary. But people don't understand the particular situation we were in on offense, with several key players out. So,
yeah, definitely. But, man, it's always fun just chatting with you.
Absolutely, man.
It was a good conversation. Good Valentine's Day special. We talked a lot of good, a lot of bad. TD, I'm pretty sure everyone knows where to find you, but where can they find you?
You can find me at TDPhinsTalk, home of the real Miami Dolphin fans. Also, Miami Sports Music, and Doug knows very well. We're both connected, family now with Miami Sports Music. Dolphins with Attitude, DWA. Shout out to the group. But you can find us everywhere on social media. TDPhinsTalk. I'm not a social media guy, but I'm trying. I've been trying more lately to be more involved on Twitter and Instagram and stuff. It's not me, but I get on there and have a little feud here and there.
I try to pull them out. I'll add them sometimes. Hey, TD, what are you doing, you butt? And I'm trying to pull them out, get them on social media. But like we were talking about, we were teasing it. We're going to set it up. TD knows. Me just having a baby, it's hard to get an hour to give it to him. But I'm going to be on TD's channel this week. We're going to try to get it this week for an hour live. We're going to debate. We're going to chat with you guys. So if you haven't subscribed to TDPhinsTalk, head over there, check it out, subscribe. And TD was a blast hanging out.
I got to come over because Doug don't know the difference between a go route and a skinny post.
It's going to be good.
We're going to debate this one. And I got to bring the film for y'all, and I'll let y'all decide which one it is, but we'll see. Hey, right, but Doug, if it was a skinny post, then was it a bad throw?
I gotta go back in my memory bank and look at that pass because I see what you're talking about. Give a little spoiler. You see him kind of curving, and then when the pass comes, he kind of goes back up. But here's my thing.
Well, it's the hash mark, right?
Yeah.
I don't even know if you no, you can't see it. So you got the hash mark, right? Yeah. Grant starts the route on the outside of the hash mark. Mm-hmm. He's running. And 20 yards in, he fakes outside, but goes inside, and he's taking a straight angle towards the logo. As soon as he makes it to the hash, you see his head turn around to the ball, and he notices, oh no, it's not going to the logo. Let me go follow the ball. Oh, I dropped the pass, which he should have caught. Mm-hmm. But it was a post route. It was a post, and then he had to come back to try to catch it. But everybody's saying, no, that was a goal. Honestly, even though he should have caught the ball anyway, it would have been an easier catch had the post been thrown. But we threw it as if it was a goal. But we'll break it down.
I got to look at it. I'm going to look at it. I'm going to dissect it. But I will say this. Last remarks on this thing. Grant didn't know what side of the field to line up on.
We're talking about that play, Doug. Don't muddy the water. Hey, but that is embarrassing.
Seriously, guys, it's going to be a blast when I'm over on TD's channel. I'll let you guys know, and you got to come hang out. It's going to be a blast. TD, thank you so much for hanging out, bud.
No problem, man. It's always a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
And like I said to TD, it was a blast to hang out with him. We're going to try to set it up where I go on his channel during a live stream. We're going to chat. We're going to debate. We're going to debate the to it a grant pass. Was it a post route, like he said, or was it a go route? We have a lot of stuff planned, so be sure to check him out. Also, like he said, Miami Sports Music, be sure to check them out. But this was kind of a giant comment of the day because we addressed a lot of things that you guys were talking about. So no, there isn't a comment of the day today. And if that bothers you, I do apologize. There will be one in next video. But we felt like, well, I felt like, because I made the video, that we addressed a lot of things that I've got you guys asking me. But be sure to comment below. Let me know what you guys think of what me and TD talked about. Be sure to say comment of the day. If you wanted to be part of the comment of the day, you could either put hashtag comment of the day, because the way I find your comment is I go into the search for the comments and I type comment of the day or hashtag comment of the day. And I find your comment. And if it's a good one or if I like it, I pick it for comment of the day. So if you want to be part of comment of the day, do that or hit me up on Twitter and Instagram. But other than that, I'll see you guys in the next video. I have another Miami Dolphins Mythbuster video. We're going to talk more free agency and a lot of stuff. But other than that, guys, like usual, stay classy. Fins up.